Coming to you live from Port St. John, or better known as Cocoa, Florida, up here at beautiful Space Coast Junior Senior High School. The storm, well, yeah, we've weathered it, and it has gone, I think, towards Volusia. I did see where at least one game got canceled tonight, so again, we got crazy weather coming in, but we are happy that we get to show you this live as the visiting Lady Scorps of Satellite High School coming to Space Coast to take on the Lady Vipers in high school varsity flag football. Hey, I'm Bill Maharis. Thanks for joining me. Yes, I keep saying we. As you see, there is no we. My counterpart and football expert, Coach Doug Cook, a little bit down with the bug today. He did get 9 holes in, so you know he's not feeling good when he doesn't finish all 18. But hopefully you were with us last year. We did 2 flag football games. I believe we did West Shore at Mel High. And then I think West Shore hosted, I want to say, John Carroll. But again, so exciting to see that this brand new sport to Brevard County, not to the state. I think it's been around. Let me look at my notes here from last year, since 2003. And then even before that, there were some club teams. But I'm glad to see that athletic director for the county, Kevin Robinson, has added varsity flag football to the repertoire of Brevard sports as it continues to grow. And again, last year, if you watched any of the games that we had, we were just amazed and excited at how well the young ladies played football. I think a lot of it had to do with they were athletes before they picked up flag football, and I think they just liked football because I know they played in middle school during PE, probably in the elementary school. So when you take great athletes like Brevard County has and add a sport that they already like to do, well, you're going to have some success. Speaking of success, let's talk a little bit about the teams tonight. Satellite High School comes in with a 4-2 record, taking on the undefeated Lady Vipers of Space Coast at 7-0. I want to give a shout out real quick to the administration and the coaches of both teams. For Satellite, shout out to Principal Mrs. Courtney Lundy, Athletic Director TJ Gowdy, and their head coach Gunnar Greenwald. And for Space Coast, our good friend Dr. Jeanette Connor, Athletic Director Steve Slintz, and you know him as the varsity football coach, and he's coaching the ladies too, our good friend Coach Jake Owens. And I'm sure that's got to be excited. Football doesn't stop for Coach Owens. Again, I'm getting ready to go through spring football probably shortly. I know college has already started. We got the UFL that's getting ready to start. Forget about the UFL, forget about the combine, forget about the draft. We've got ladies varsity flag football, and you're in for a treat if you didn't watch any of the games last year that we did. Again, these ladies love the sport. I was talking to a mom earlier. Her daughter is number 14, Faith Connors. She also plays soccer. She's a sophomore, doing right well. She's a wide receiver, already has 2 touchdowns receiving, I think 1 rushing, and I think 1 some other way because they have her listed as 4 touchdowns. But in talking to Faith's mom, just curious, again, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, my daughter was lucky enough to play lacrosse when it first started, so I've kind of been through the process of a brand new sport as a parent and as a coach here in Brevard County. And she plays soccer, and she just loves football. She's a natural athlete. And again, I think you're going to see that today where most of these girls probably do play another sport. And when you couple that with their love for football, well, you're in for a treat. Let me flip this around. The clock here real quick. Clock hasn't started, but they had their huddles, so I think we're going to get ready to start. Again, just like every other sport that we have here in Brevard County, we've got the officials from the MCOA, Mid-Coast Officials Association, and we're certainly glad that they are here today. Again, Lady Scorps come in with a 4-2 record. Vipers are undefeated at 7-0. I know Vieira is also undefeated at 6-0. I think Merritt Island's 5-1. I'm not sure about some of the other teams, and we've got quite a few teams that added the sport this year. But again, a lot of success stories. And just like any new sport that comes to the county, they're going to play each other a lot during the year because, again, brand new sport. But when you look at the districts that are built, most of the teams in the district are either north in Volusia or to the west in Orlando. I'm going to adjust this camera real quick. Again, we do play, I don't see it on the clock yet, but I believe we play 4 8-minute quarters. Again, there is a mercy rule. If there is a 19 or more lead at or after the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter, the game is over. So it looks like we've got Satellite is going to get started with the ball first, and it is game on. First down, Satellite out to pass, pass complete. Flag pulled right away, nice little gain. Trying to see if I can see that number. The quarterback, I think, is, looks like number 10. I'm going to get my binoculars out. My peeps aren't what they were. Nice little pickup on first down, pickup of about, I'd say 5. You can see that yellow cone down there. Again, if you're new to flag football, and I'm still learning it too, the defense cannot line up past that yellow cone. Still going. Again, you might think it's easy to take those flags. If you've ever played flag football, whether it's in intramurals or PE class, it is not that easy. And the way that these young ladies move back and forth, you might think that flag is down, but again, these runners know not to stop until they hear the whistle. Third down. Again, defense has to line up past that yellow cone. And I believe they got the second down marker. I'm pretty sure it's third down. I think if I read the rules right, they got to get past midfield for first down. Pass complete, and that's complete to number 4. That is Hannah Chamberlain. Let's see here if they're going to make it a first down. Again, looking back at my notes from last year when we did a couple games about this time, I think it was actually mid-February. I do believe that, yeah, it's a first down because once they pass that midfield, I think they get 4 downs again. Back to pass. Oh, nice little rush there by the Vipers. I believe that was number 10. Let me get my sheet out here. And that is Haley Thibodeau. She's also the quarterback. Brings up a second down, no gain. Again, you see that yellow cone. That's where the defense has to land. Run to the outside. Again, nice play by number 1, Isabella Taylor for the Vipers. Brings up third down. Don't have the clock running, but again, 8 minutes per quarter. Back to pass. They're going to have to run with it again. Another nice play on defense by Lady Viper number 1, Isabella Taylor. That's her second. I guess you would call it sack, because I do believe that was behind the line of scrimmage. So that is going to bring up a fourth down. Satellite looking for a big play. First time on offense. Oh, nice play. Nice throw out there and almost intercepted. Looks like we had number 4 and number 6 out there. Soquia, if I pronounced her name correctly, Coakley, and number 6, Philae Carroll, fighting over that ball on defense. And now on downs, ball turns over. And for the first time tonight, we're going to see the undefeated 7-0 Lady Vipers of Space Coast Junior Senior High School. Again, my guess is if they pass that 40-yard line, which is midfield, they're going to get a first down. Let's see what they got in play. A little handoff, a little sweep there, coming around the side, close to the press box. Nice play on defense. That was handed off to Isabella Taylor. We just saw her on defense. Playing quarterback and also the punter for Space Coast is number 10, Haley Thibodeau. And let's see. All right, so it is a first down. You can see the marker went down, it looks like 20 yards. So 20 yards for first. Little handoff going up the middle. Got a little bit of room, back and forth. Flags are still on. She's still going. Flags are still on. Finally, number 4 for Satellite, Hannah Chamberlain. And what a nice run by the Lady Vipers all the way down. It looks like about the 5-yard line. And that is the quarterback, number 10, Haley Thibodeau. Again, you keep running until you hear the whistle. Oh, almost. Nice try. Ball's probably a little slippery out there. Again, you just never know. You might think that flag comes off pretty easily, but as you can see, it does not. And those young ladies know that they've got to keep running until that whistle blows. Still 0-0. First time the Vipers have had the ball tonight. Little pitch out over to the right. Looks like she's got some room, and that's a touchdown for the hometown Lady Vipers. That's number 1, Isabella Taylor. And just like that, on their first offensive drive, 6-0 Space Coast. Going for the extra point, a little high snap. Nice down by Thibodeau. Looks like she's going to try to run it in, back and forth. And she gets it. Extra point is good. I don't know how much time is left, but probably halfway through the quarter. Again, 8-minute quarters. Space Coast leads by 7. Satellite getting ready to come back on. So it looks like 20 yards for a first down. But I think if they pass the 40-yard line, that might automatically be a first down. We'll see as we go. Again, Thibodeau with the run-in for the extra point makes it 7. First down, Satellite trying to put some points on the board. Nice little run coming around the end here to the near side. And nice play by number 4 for Space Coast, Miss Coakley. And that is number 14, young lady we were talking about earlier today, Faith Connors. Second down, got to get to midfield for first. Nice little pass complete. Another nice stop by number 1, Isabella Taylor. Brings up second down. Second down for Satellite. A little mixed direction there in the backfield. Got a little bit of running room, holding on to that ball. Nice little run by the Scorps. I'm going to take off my glasses so I can see through my binoculars. I'm going to just double check the number of that quarterback. And let's see what we got here. That is number 14. Going back here just to check, unless that's number 11, I believe that is number 14, yes. 14 playing quarterback. And again, that is Jamison Kraft, my bad, looking at the wrong lineup. Nice little run. She's still on there. If you still got the flag, I think she got down, still going. That gets her a first down, I do believe. And again, just to correct myself, that is the quarterback for Satellite, number 14, Jamison Kraft. Satellite on the move, still in the first quarter. Not sure how much time is left. I believe the time's being kept out on the field. Satellite trying to put some points on the board to tie this game up. Space Coast by 7, first quarter. Kraft going around the end. Again, just no getting around that number 1, Isabella Taylor on defense. That's at least her 5th or 6th stop. Probably her 2nd sack if you include pulling the flag behind the line of scrimmage as a sack. But that might be one side you don't want to run on. Second down. Still got about 20 yards, maybe 18 to go for first. Kraft back at quarterback. Boy, a lot of pressure. Oh, nice stop. That is number 10. She's also the quarterback, Haley Thibodeau. That's a sack. Puts them back a few yards. Third down. Still got about 21 yards to go for first. I hear him down there calling 3rd and goal, so it looks like the only time you get a first down, I guess, is if you go 20 yards or past that midway mark. Again, Haley back in there again. Again, they put that yellow cone about a yard in front of the line of scrimmage, but quarterback Kraft just does not have a chance. Again, if Coach Cook was here, my football coach expert, might want to look at rolling her out to one side or the other, because standing there in the pocket, they just seem to don't have a chance. Going to throw across the field, a little bit high. Nice little misdirection though, running right, throwing left. And just like that, ball turns over on downs. Probably got a couple minutes left to go in the first quarter. The 7-0 Vipers lead 7-0 over the 4-2 Scorps. Both teams have a game tomorrow. I think it might be their last game of the week before they go on spring break next week, and I'll certainly give you that information as we get closer to the end of the first quarter and at the end of the game. I believe Space Coast will be here. Satellite travels to Merritt Island. Going around the end, that's Miss Tyler. Nice play on defense by the Scorps. Count that as a sack behind the line of scrimmage. Again, you can see that second down marker is on the 40-yard line. So I believe no matter where they start, if they get past midfield, then they get an automatic first down. And in case you're curious, we'll go over some of the rules later. The field is approximately 30 yards by 80. Nice little outlet pass. Nice little play on defense by the Scorps. Giving her flag back. Nice sportsmanship. That's number 2 for Satellite, Maggie Carrera. But you can see the cones are a little bit inside, both on the sides and on the ends. So instead of 50 by 100, it's 30 by 80 size of the field. Third down. Thibodeau back to pass. Nice little rush. Got some down. Boy, fires it downfield. Oh, almost intercepted. Man, had a lot good zip on that ball. Again, just like I said earlier during the pregame, these young ladies probably play a little bit of flag football in PE and either have an older brother, dad, uncle, sister, or mom that like playing football too. And when you take, looks like a little penalty, and when you take good athletes that a lot of these young girls are from a different sport and put them into a sport that they like to do, you're going to see success, as both of these teams have, coming in with a combined record of 11-2. All right, so looks like they choose to punt, and as I mentioned earlier, the punter is the quarterback, Haley Thibodeau. Let's see what we're going to do. I think I mentioned she does punt. She has 16 punts for a 35.4 average. Her longest punt is 60 yards and 6 punts inside the 20. So Haley Thibodeau does it on special teams, offense, and defense. All right, let's see what we got going here. All right, so it must have been fourth down when they went for it. I'm going to guess it is the second quarter. Yeah, because we switched sides. And looks like Satellite's got the ball, pretty good position on the Space Coast 20-yard line, trying to tie it up as we start the second quarter. Again, back in for quarterback for Satellite is Kraft. Moving the ball, 5-yard penalty maybe on something, I'm going to guess. Get that quarter change for you. There we go. Second quarter, Space Coast up 7-0. Kraft back to pass. Oh, there's again, nice rush by Haley. She got to get rid of that ball. Oh, nice little completion downfield. Nice pass by Kraft. Looks like they're down about the 10-yard line trying to tie this game up in the second quarter. Again, we want to thank the Mid-Coast Officials Association for covering flag football like they do all the sports here in Brevard. We got 2 officials on the field, keeping the time on the field as well. Satellite, second down, trying to tie it as they are down by 7. Kraft with the ball, looks like it's a keeper. Nope, looked like she was diving for the Goal line a little bit short. Smart play, though. If you're that close and you know you've got at least a step or two on the defense, because they have to line up 1 yard behind or ahead of the line of scrimmage, not a bad play. I imagine we might see that again. Looks like they got less than a yard to go for a touchdown. Again, trying to tie it. Looks like we got somebody else in quarterback. I'm going to guess a running play with somebody else. Oh, direct snap. And it is a touchdown. Nice play. Direct snap to the quarterback, Kraft, playing off the ball in like a slot position. And even though Space Coast got that flag right away, they had less than a yard to go. Nice play by the satellite team, Coach Greenwald. And just like that, it's 7-6. Point after coming up. Kraft back. Thibodeau after her. She's going to keep the ball, and she got in for the extra point. And with about 2 minutes through into the second quarter, it is all tied up 7-7. So Kraft with the 1 yard run for the touchdown, as well as the 3 yard run for the point after. Makes it 7-7. Talk a little bit about point after. You know, I like some of these rules that they have in the flag football. You know, we've got the UFL starting up. Not really sure if I'm going to watch too much of that, but what I do like that they're doing is changing the rules a little bit. They're kind of going where the wide receiver, like in college, only needs 1 foot in. And I'll go over some of the rules today, too, with the flag football. Thibodeau on the run. Picks up a couple yards. But I like what they do here. It makes it a little bit more exciting for the fans. So, one player can go in motion, nothing new. But what I like is for the point after, what they're allowed to do, and just like what both teams have done so far tonight, if you take the point after from the 3 yard line, it's worth 1 point, and that's what both have done. You can also move it to the 10 yard line, and if you're successful, it's 2 points. Or you can move it to the 20 yard line, and if you're successful, it's 3 points. So it makes it exciting when your team is down by 2 or 3 points. After a touchdown, they actually have an opportunity to get 1, 2, or 3 points on the point after. So I do like that. Again, makes it a little bit more exciting for the fans, as well as it gives an opportunity to the team that's behind to try to catch up with more than just a 1 or 2 point after, with the opportunity to go for 3. All right, second down. Again, they got to get to midfield. Markers up there. Got about 20 yards to go. Thibodeau for the pass. Oh, got her back there in the backfield. Call that a sack. Try to see that young lady's number. Is she going to give her? That's number 4. Hannah Chamberlain. I think we called her name before. She might be the one. Lines up right there on the ball. No, that is looks like number 9 that's lining up by the cone, Stella McChrystal. Third down and about 25 yards to go. I'm sure Coach Owens maybe like to get about half of that back. Thibodeau back to pass, rushes on, looking across the field, throwing it downfield, and almost intercepted. Nice play, threw into coverage. 2 Scorps are back there. Again, nice toss by Thibodeau. Brings up 4th down. I think I heard Coach Owens or one of the coaches holler out, punt unit. Again, second quarter, Space Coast scored the first time they had the ball in the first quarter. Taylor had a 5 yard run with Thibodeau, a 3 yard point after. All right, punt by Thibodeau. Got a little bit of running room. Coming out here to the near sideline. And that is number 8, I believe, for the Scorps, Haley Wiesa on the return. Again, Thibodeau also punts. She's got 16 punts with a 35.4 average. I'm thinking a lot of high school and even college punters would like to have that. Her longest punt is 60 yards, and she's got 6 punts inside the 20. All right, first down, probably about 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Scorps, third time tonight on offense. Nice little pass completion. Pickup of about 10, halfway to the first down marker. Got the young man down there holding the marker. I believe you only get 1 first down when you're on offense. Again, we'll see as we go, as I'm learning the game as well. Second down, whistle blown by MCOA official. Kraft back to pass. Pass over the middle. Pass complete to number 1. Turning the corner, looking for the end zone. Nice defensive play. That saves a touchdown. That was Matty Vadilano, number 1. Nice catch. Nice throw by Kraft. That gives them a first down at about the, I'm going to say, 5-yard line. Satellite looking to go on top, 7-7. Got to change the score here. Scorekeeper falling asleep. All right, first and goal to go from the 5. Oh, got away from Thibodeau, but did not get away from Taylor. Those are 2 really good defensive players. On offense as well, Taylor number 1, Thibodeau number 10. It's hard to know which side to run when you got both of them playing defense. Second and goal to go from about the 6. Play coming in from Coach Greenwald. Snap back to Kraft. Pass over the middle, almost intercepted. Nice defense by the Scorps. You know, just like in the NFL or college, you start getting into that red zone or down there around the 10 or 5-yard line, it's hard to score because everybody's boxed up. So again, it might seem like it should be easier because you're closer, but there's not a lot of real estate. Third down. Oh, nice. Oh, just right through her fingers. Pass intended for Chamberlain. Brings up fourth down. Again, Satellite trying to take the lead. 7-all in the second quarter. If you're just joining us, Satellite in the white jerseys, red trim, and Vipers in the dark purple jerseys. Fourth down, Kraft back to put Thibodeau on her. Got away from her, throwing it up in the air. Anybody there? No, unfortunately. Just a tremendous rush by Space Coast. Nice hustle by Kraft, the quarterback. Pass falls incomplete. Turnover on downs. Space Coast comes out with their third attempt at offense. Again, the coaches for tonight's contest for Satellite, Coach Gunnar Greenwald, and for Space Coast, you've heard his name before. He coaches varsity football for the young men, Jake Owens. I'm going to guess a couple minutes left in the half. Third time Space Coast has been on offense, trying to put some points on the board. Pass, a little wobbly, falls incomplete. Second down, the marker's right there. Looks like they got still got about 10 yards to go, I guess. There is 7 to a team. Again, you can rush, but you have to be 1 yard back where that yellow cone is. Nice pass up in the air, falls incomplete. Brings up third down. Nice defense by Satellite. Again, we know Space Coast is one of at least 2 teams undefeated. I believe Vieira is undefeated at 6-0. I know Merritt Island is 5-1. I'm not sure about the other teams. Oh, almost. Good try. Good pass attempt. Pass intended for number 3, Kaylee Brown. She comes into today's game with 4 touchdowns. She's got 289 yards receiving, 16.1 yard average. Looks like Thibodeau's going to punt again. Thibodeau as a quarterback should hit the 1,000-yard mark today after just 8 games. She's got 982 coming in. Nice little run back by Satellite. Good stop right there, just inside the 40-yard line, about the 34. Again, you got to remember the field, instead of 50 by 100, is 30 by 80. So 40-yard line is midfield. Official backing it up a little bit. Kraft back at quarterback. I think that was an errant flag. Probably the wind caught it. Well, let's see. Maybe not. What do we got? Got 3 officials on the field. I think I might have said 2 earlier. Looks like they say between 2 and 4. I think last year, both games that Doug and I did, they had 3, and then I believe they put 4 on the field, probably 1 on each side when they get to the playoffs. All right, first down for Satellite, trying to put some points on the board. It's all tied up right now at 7. Kraft back at quarterback. Thibodeau, the other quarterback. Nice sack. Man, I tell you, there is just no stopping number 10. If it's not number 1, Taylor on defense, it's number 10, Thibodeau. And again, if my counterpart was here, Coach Cook, who's a little bit under the weather, he might think they might want to call something like a rollout. But if you stay in that pocket too long, even on offense for Space Coast, same thing with Satellite. They've got some excellent young ladies that are coming in off the rush. Second down, Kraft back to pass, ball in the air, and it is complete to number 13 for Satellite. That is Bella Bolin. That brings up a first down. Again, I don't know how much time's on the clock. Satellite trying to score. First play got me choked up. Pass complete. Excuse me. Official just said 1 minute left. Sporting events always get me choked up. All right, second down. Kraft out on the roll. Looks like she's going to keep it. Wow, again, Haley Thibodeau coming in for the get. Count that as a sack because that's behind the line. Brings up 3rd and goal to go from about the 40, 30, I'm going to guess 19-yard line. A little bit of a rain delay. Hopefully everybody survived. Don't know if there's a lot of lightning strikes. I do know one of the other games tonight, I think a lacrosse game that Alan was going to do on Brevard Sports Network, was canceled between 2 really good teams, Holy Trinity and Edgewood in ladies lacrosse. Hopefully they'll reschedule that. Both teams had great or have great records. Hopefully most of the other contests are underway. We had probably maybe about a 30-minute delay, not too bad, maybe 20 minutes. All right, third down, goal to go. Scorps trying to take the lead before halftime. A little pitch out. I think it's going to be a pass. Yeah, but boy, Thibodeau just snuffed that out. My goodness. That young lady playing a heck of a game on defense. Count that as another sack. I'm going to see if I've got my stats with me today. Haley came in with 4 sacks. I think she's added 4 at least to that total. Ball up in the air. Oh, almost intercepted. A lot of Vipers over there. 1 Viper. A little bit of a tip drill, but that's all right. And I believe it turns over on downs. He's going to flip the cones because it's going the other way. And Satellite called timeout. Probably about 30 seconds left in the half. Now it's Coach Owen's turn to see if he can add some points on the board as we're all knotted up at 7 with about a minute, maybe 30 seconds to go in the half. Looking at Satellite, looks like they got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe about 13 young ladies, where Coach Owens, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, got about 20. And we'll talk a little bit about the age group because they've got a lot of young, even 8th graders, again, junior, senior high school. 7th and 8th graders can play JV and varsity. So definitely has a young team off to a great start with a lot of promise ahead. What do we got? I think I heard offsides or movement. Now going back 5 yards. Most penalties are 5 yards. Let me look here at my notes. Looks like catching interference, 10 yards. Everything else looks like it's about 5. And again, with a small field, you don't want to ding anybody 15 yards. Thibodeau on the fake handoff. She's on the keeper, running it up down the middle, trying to split it. Nice play by Satellite. That is number 2. That was Maggie Carrera on the stop. And let me see if that is halftime. I'm guessing that is halftime. Go ahead and change the quarter. Well, we got a little break in the action again. I've mentioned that Satellite comes in with a record of 4-2. When you look at Max Preps, they have the national and Florida rankings. I think it's a little askewed, if I use that word correctly, because they've got their national ranked at 159 and their rank in Florida at 158. I'm thinking there's a few more teams in the other 16 states that play, but we'll say the top 160 in the state. And in the Metro Orlando area, Satellite comes in ranked at 27th. They average 16 points a game, allow just under 12. And kind of like Space Coast, and we'll talk a little bit about them in a second, they lost their first 2 games, lost their first game to MCC, and then lost by 1, so I'm guessing a missed PAT to undefeated Vieira 7-6. And now they've rattled off 4 wins in a row, including a win against MCC, so one of the first 2 teams that beat them. They have paid that due back. So they are on a 4-game win streak. Looking over at Space Coast, again, they've won 7 games in a row, as I mentioned earlier. Looking up some of their stats here. Space Coast, they average 25 points a game, only giving up 3.6. So amazing that they are scoring just about 6 times, over 6 times as many points per game as their opponents. Again, they have scored 175 points, only giving up 25. So averaging 25, giving up less than 4. As I mentioned, quarterback Thibodeau comes in with 982 yards passing. I'm pretty sure she'll pass 1,000 yards today. Her yards per completion are 12. Passing yards per game, 140. Comes in with an amazing 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. As a team, the Vipers are rushing 99 rushes for 588 yards, which is 5.9 yards per carry, 84 yards a game, and they have scored 10 touchdowns on the ground. I don't have any stats on Satellite, so don't mean to shut out the Lady Scorps. I just did not see any stats on Max Prep, so unfortunately I don't have anything to share except for some of the team stats that I've been able to get points for and points against. But let's look at common opponent. The only common opponent between these 2 teams is Titusville High School. Now, Space Coast, with 4 shutouts, 2 games they only gave up 6 points. Looking at my notes here, they beat Titusville twice, 6-0 and 7-0. And Satellite beat Titusville the only time they met, 26-21. So, a little bit of stats you can look at 2 different ways. Space Coast beat Titusville both times they played them, gave up no points, but only scored 13. Where Satellite, and the one time they played them, gave up 21, but scored 26. So, when you look at that common opponent and you see where Satellite has scored more, but Space Coast shut them out both times, you get kind of an even keel feel for both teams when you look at that. And hence, in the 3rd quarter, it's 7-7. So again, after a tough start with 2 losses, Satellite has rattled off 4 wins in a row. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, Space Coast comes in undefeated with 4 shutouts and 2 games where they only gave up 6 points. So they've already given up more points this game than 6 of their previous 7. And we're starting the third quarter. Thibodeau back to pass. Oh, wow. A sack, I guess you'd call it, when they get that flag behind the line. Again, both teams doing an amazing job on the rush. See if I can get that young lady's number here. I think that was number 16 for Satellite, which is Lainey Whitworth on the sack. All right, second down. Thibodeau back to pass. Uh-oh, almost intercepted. Let me see, that is... I heard somebody say Laney, so that must have been Lainey Whitworth again, number 16. 2 really good plays in a row. Or maybe number 4. No. Yeah, I guess that was number 16. So 2 great defensive plays, a sack, and an almost interception. Thibodeau coming back on the field after talking with Coach Owens. Again, knotted up at 7. All the scoring was done in the first quarter. Back to pass. Pass complete. A little bit of a running start. Nice play by Satellite on defense. All right, fourth down. They're going to punt. As I mentioned earlier, Thibodeau is the punter. 16 punts with a 35.4 yard average, her longest being 60 yards. As I mentioned, 7 on a team. Nice punt, nice little bounce. Nice play, that's number 1, Taylor, with the, I guess you call it a tackle. I'll have to look that up if we do another game this year, but for now we'll call it a tackle. And for the first time in the second quarter, first time in the third quarter, Satellite on offense. Kraft back at quarterback. Thibodeau's ready to pounce right there at the yellow cone. Kraft, nice move. Just cannot get out of her way. And I think that's probably Taylor, yeah. When Thibodeau chases you over to Taylor's side, there's just not a lot of upside to getting past those 2. Second down. Again, I think you just got to go past the midline. So if they just get a nice little play here, pick up 2 yards, they'll have a first down. And then it will be first and goal because you only get 1 first down per possession. And no, couldn't get past Taylor. Third down and 1. You know, Coach Greenwald wants to pick up this first down. You don't want to have 3 plays from 1 yard and not get a first down. Again, third quarter, probably about 6.5 minutes left. Knotted up at 7. One streak's going to end today. Satellite has a 4-game winning streak. Space Coast has a 7-game. Pass across the middle. Pass complete to number 1. And that is for Satellite, Maddie Vitaliano. Nice little pickup. That brings up first down. They got 4 plays to make a touchdown. Try to take the lead here in the third quarter. Back to Kraft. Oh, again, another nice completion. Oh, and again, I think that's number 1 again. Maddie Vitaliano, number 1. 2 great receptions in a row. Pickup of probably, let me look here, 20, probably about, what's he marching off here? Probably about 36 yards on those 2 pass plays. All right, looking at the marker, he's got it down as first down. So maybe it is a first down. Maybe those 20 yards picked up a first down. So this could be first and goal to go. Kraft back to pass. Pass over in the corner. And that's a catch. Talk about a jump ball. That's number 11, Ellie Kirsting. And with 2 Vipers right there on defense, she pulls it down. And midway through the third quarter, Satellite takes the lead Point after. Kraft's got the ball and got in there for the point after. And after a beautiful 20-yard pass play to number 11 for Satellite, Ellie Kirsting, Kraft adds the point after, and Satellite takes the lead 14-7. Again, nice pass play from quarterback Kraft to Kirsting of about 20 yards. And then Kraft on the point after. They lead 7-14. Nice defensive play by Satellite. I think that's number 16 again, Lainey Whitworth. She's right up there with Taylor and Thibodeau on Space Coast side as far as being just everywhere on that defensive line. Again, I'm going to run away from her. She's lined up there in that yellow cone, getting ready to pounce. Thibodeau back to pass. And again, she got her. Another sack. That's about 7-8 yards back. Making sure that is who that is. Yep, number 16, Whitworth. So if you'll notice on defense, they're not allowed to actually block. It's more like interference where they stand in the way of the rusher. And I think we saw Satellite a little bit earlier had some success with putting 3 back there to quote-unquote block. So it made it a little bit harder for Thibodeau to run around all 3, but they're not actually allowed to block them, but they can, I guess for lack of better words, stand in their way. Again, Satellite up 14-7 with probably a few minutes left in the third quarter. Space Coast scored on the first time they had the ball in the first quarter and has not scored since. Again, one winning streak will end tonight as Satellite comes in with 4 wins in a row. And of course, Space Coast undefeated 7-0. But as I mentioned during halftime, when you look at that common opponent of Titusville, on one hand, Space Coast shut them out twice, but only scored 6 points one time and 7 the other, where Satellite gave up 21 the one time they played, but scored 26. So again, when you look at that common opponent, these teams are evenly matched. Nice long pass, interception by Satellite. That is number 1 for Satellite, Maddie Valetano, and the ball goes over on a turnover. Satellite in good field position. You've noticed flag football, 4 8-minute quarters. I think that's the same thing that middle school basketball plays. Moves pretty quick. I don't think we've been at it for an hour yet. All right, Kraft back to pass. Right there over the middle. Pass complete to number 13, Bella Bolin. She's had an earlier pass in the game, or reception, I should say. Kraft back to pass again. Thibodeau on the rush. Looking downfield. Little bit high. Pass intended. I think that's number 1, Vitaliano. Brings up second down. Again, clouds cleared up pretty good. Hopefully anybody here in the Brevard County listening area fared well. Wasn't quite the storm we thought, but I did talk to a parent earlier. Looks like there might have been some hail over Merritt Island, so some got it worse than others, and hopefully everybody fared well. All right, second down. Kraft back to pass. Thibodeau on the rush. Complete or not? Yeah, looks like, yeah, caught that complete. That's to number 11, Ellie Kirsting. She's the one with the touchdown this quarter. Third down, and they've only got about 11 yards to go for another touchdown. Again, Kraft back to pass. Tucking it under. Still got the, as you can see, it is not that easy to pull that flag. She got about 5 extra yards after coming into contact with the Lady Viper. 4th down, ball on about the 3rd yard line. Real big play here. Satellite trying to go up by 14. Coach Owens and the Vipers trying to hold them. Could be the play of the game right here. Oh, wide open. What a nice play. Touchdown, Satellite. Nice call by Coach Greenwald. And that was to number 11, Kirsting, her 2nd touchdown of this quarter. Point after. And point after, no good. And close to the end of the 3rd, Satellite now leads undefeated Space Coast 20-7. One thing I'd noticed when, again, I mentioned it earlier, looking at both of these teams, as I said, Satellite lost their first 2. And their second game, they only lost by 1, a missed extra point, 7-6 to still undefeated 6-0 Vieira. They lost the first game to MCC and came back and beat MCC. So again, like Space Coast, as these young ladies continue to play this new game to Brevard, they just keep getting better and better at it. Oh, nice pass completion. And that is, looks like number 8, Macy Ames. Coach Owens in with the play call. Fix that score. Satellite's up 20-7. Oh, on the keeper. Got a lot of room. Coming around the corner. Nice run by Thibodeau. Nice stop by number 2 for Satellite, Maggie Carrera. I think that's another 1st down, looking at the marker. Again, if you just joined us, a yellow cone, that is where the defensive player lines up. And boy, if that's a yard, that's a short yard, because that defense on both teams is in there pretty quick. Pass intended for Taylor, number 1, falls incomplete. 2nd down as the 3rd quarter is winding down, and Space Coast needs to find 2 touchdowns in their back pocket to at least tie the game and maybe take it on a point after. Coach Owens calling in the play. Oh, into the 3rd quarter. And with 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, both pass plays, both from Kraft to Kirsling. Make sure I pronounced her name right. Number 11, Kirsting. 20-yard pass on the first touchdown, 1 yard on the second. And the Scorps put up 13 points in the quarter, and they lead 20-7. And again, quarter's only 8 minutes long, so you kind of feel Space Coast needs to do something with this possession, because they might only get the ball 1 more, maybe 2 more times. Takes a little pressure if you can score this time. Space Coast has given up more points this game than they have any other game. They've got 4 shutouts, 2 games they gave up 6, and 1 game they gave up 13. So they've given up 20. Thibodeau on the run, got a lot of space. Try to split 2 Scorps, but they grabbed the flag. Nice little run by Thibodeau. Again, just an 8-minute quarter. Time is not on the scoreboard, so kind of tough for the players to figure out how much time is left. I believe the refs tell them. I know they tell them when there's 1 minute left. Maybe they tell them when there's 2 or 3. But again, you feel like Coach Owens and the Lady Vipers would like to go ahead and put 7 on the board now, and hopefully get the ball 2 more times to score that other touchdown. Oh, and interception right to her. And that is number 4 for Satellite. That is Hannah Chamberlain. And I think that's 2 straight drives by the Vipers that ends in a turnover. Not quite what Coach Owens and the Vipers wanted. Still plenty of time. You still feel that they're going to get the ball 2 more times. But you almost think they're going to have to get a turnover on their own, because with just probably 7 minutes left in the quarter, you just cannot let Satellite run that clock down if you're hoping to score twice to at least tie it, if not take the lead. Kraft back at quarterback. Scrambling around. Oh, there it is. There's an interception. That's what they needed. Space Coast gets the ball back. That's what they had to have. And that is number 2 for Space Coast, Peyton Cordova. And that is exactly what they needed. As they say, just what the doctor ordered. And she's just a sophomore. Thibodeau now back on the field. They got to make something happen here. We talked about how young Space Coast is. Junior, senior high school, 7th and 8th graders can play junior varsity and varsity sports. They've got 3 8th graders and a total of 11 11th, 9th, and 10th graders. So again, promising start and promising future. Pass complete to number 1, Taylor. She's still going. I think she's still going. Oh, nice stop by Satellite. That was a touchdown saving stop there. I think that's number 2 for the Scorps. Maggie Carrera, again, as I've mentioned plenty of times, it is not that easy, even though these young ladies have 3 flags, 1 per side, 1 in the back. But that thing flipping and flopping and then moving back and forth, it's not that easy. And you saw after the first Scorp got a hold of Taylor, she still gained about 15 more yards. We got first down. Scorp's trying to put some points on the board. Thibodeau back to pass. Ball up in the air. Oh, she almost made a one-handed catch. Great try by the Scorps. Fell down and almost grabbed that with one hand. Second down. Nice throw by Thibodeau. Trailing by 13 in the fourth quarter. Probably about 6 minutes left. Maybe 5.5. Thibodeau back at quarterback. Rushes on. Looking for somebody. Nowhere to throw. Tucks it under. Nice stop there by number 18. No, must not be. I think that's 16. That is Lainey Whitworth. Took some time off the clock, though. That's one thing not in Space Coast's favor is the clock. Little high snap. 2 people rushing. Somebody should be open, and they are. And that is... I'm not sure if that's Taylor. Let me see that jersey number. That is Taylor, number 1. Nice reception. Ball at about the 2-yard line. Again, not only do they need to score, you think they need to score now. Don't keep taking time off that clock. Thibodeau is going to tuck it under. And no, didn't make it. Third down. Third and goal. Space Coast, time is ticking again. There's no time on the clock. I'm thinking 5 minutes left in the game. They've given up 20 points for the whole season. They've only given up 25. Oh, nice pass to the corner. And that pass is complete to number 1, Isabella Taylor. Oh, penalty against Space Coast. You can only have 1 girl in motion. I think they had 2. Nice play, though, by Coach Owens. All right, third and goal still. Again, you can have 1 in motion. I think they had 2. Thibodeau getting the call in from Coach Owens. Oh, right over the middle. Nice play. And let's see. That's a touchdown. I think that one's going to count for the Lady Vipers. That is number 9, Michaela Wilson. think that's her second touchdown of the season. Going for a point after. This is going to be big. Puts it within 6. Looks like they're just going to go for the 1 point. Oh, nice little pitch out to Taylor, and she's in. Point after is good. And with about 4 minutes left, Space Coast adds 7 within 6. Again, point after is real important. Again, that all started with the interception by Peyton Cordova. They needed that after Thibodeau threw an interception, got the ball right back 1 play later, made the most of it. Only down by 6, trying to protect that undefeated season while Satellite's trying to add to their 4-game win streak. Hike back to Kraft. Thibodeau in on the rush. Dodges her, still going. Pass up in the air. Falls incomplete. Nice hustle by Kraft. Thibodeau was all over her on that rush. Again, that was Cordova on that touchdown. Point after was good. Pass complete. No, pass interception. Yes, pass interception, I do believe. It sure was. Number 1, Isabella Taylor took the ball right out of her hands. That is 2 turnovers in a row. That's exactly what the Vipers needed if they want to maintain this undefeated season. And probably about 3.5 minutes left. Down by 6. They are looking good at the, let's call it the 20-yard line. We've had 3 interceptions in a row. 2 by the Viper defense, 1 by the Satellite defense. You still think there's plenty of time where Coach Owens and the Lady Vipers will get the ball back, but I'm sure Coach would like to punch this one in. Because again, Satellite, after 2 touchdowns last quarter, we know they can score. Nice little pitch out. Oh, a little pass, a little razzle-dazzle. And, oh, falls incomplete. Man, I like that. Nice little play call, just like you draw it up in the backyard or behind the schoolyard in the sand. Little razzle-dazzle, I love it. 2nd down. Let's see what kind of call we got coming in now. Thibodeau back to pass. Gonna keep it, tucking it under. Trying to find some running room. And again, runs through 3 defenders. She's down there at the 8-yard line. Probably less than 3 minutes to go. Space Coast looking to score, and if they get that point after, they'll take a 1-point lead. Down by 6. Lady Scorpions defense needs to make something happen. You just got to feel that it's going to be up to the defense to make a stop. Vipers looking good these past couple drives. Coach Owens calling it in. Coach Greenwald calling in the defense. Here we go. Thibodeau passing up in the air. Oh, just out of the hands of Taylor. A little bit out of the end zone as well. 4th down, big play here. Big play. Just like Satellite had their play of the game a little bit earlier where they scored. Space Coast looking for their play of the game. Still think they'll get the ball back possibly, but you just never know. A lot of field for Satellite to chew up the clock. It might be now or never. Let's see what Coach Owens draws up. Thibodeau in quarterback, Taylor behind her. Timeout. Space Coast. Again, real quick, in case I forget later, both teams have a game tomorrow. Satellite is going to be at Merritt Island, who is 5-1. Looks like that game might be at 5:30. That's what it says on Max Prep, so just double check with the team. Most games are at 6, but again, it's listed at 5:30. So tomorrow night, the Scorps venture into Mustang Land to take on the 5-1 Merritt Island Lady Mustangs. And Space Coast is back here tomorrow and they host Astronaut at 6 o'clock. They beat Astronaut 27-6 back on the 24th of February. Astronaut comes in with a record of 2-4. So both teams on the slate tomorrow night. I think that's going to be their last games before spring break. Space Coast hosts Astronaut here at 6. And Satellite travels to Merritt Island. It looks like game time tomorrow is 5:30. Fourth down, big play. Thibodeau back to pass. Basketball's incomplete. Nice stop by the Lady Scorps. They still lead by 6. Not sure how much time is left. I'm going to think about 2.5 maybe. Because again, time is not on the board. And again, you just feel like Space Coast needs a turnover. I think one first down for Satellite just might do it. Kraft back in the quarterback position. Thibodeau back there on the rush. Kraft still has the ball. Excuse me. Excuse me. That's a flag guard. Excuse me. Little chatter about how tight that belt might have been on, or that flag. I do see a penalty, so maybe it is a penalty on the way she had her flags. Again, she did not mean to throw her down. It's just as she was grabbing the flag, somehow that flag did not come off. I guess he was waving the flag off, the yellow hanky flag. Too many flags. Anyway, second down, no flag on the play. Kraft back, quarterback position. I think Space Coast is going to need a turnover. Rolling to her right, passes up, incomplete. Brings up third down. Satellite looking to win their 5th game in a row, while Space Coast is hoping to hold on to their 7-0 unblemished record. I'm not sure if I mentioned the ranking for Space Coast like I did Satellite. I'll do that after this play. Kraft back, Thibodeau back there again to get the flag. She does. That's a sack. I mentioned, I believe, Satellite's in the top 160 in the state. And I believe they're like 28th, I think, 27th in Orlando. Space Coast comes in listed as 104th. And again, I talked about this earlier. National rank, Florida rank, I think is a little bit mixed up. But they're at least ranked 103rd in the state, 18th in the Orlando metro area. They are in 1A with 12 teams, and the only other 2 local teams in their district, Astronaut and Cocoa Beach. But again, it's a 12-team district. Nice putt. Ball is brought in, running it back. Still on the run. Flags are still intact. Flags are still intact. Flags are still intact. Out of bounds. Again, it is not that easy to get that flag. I think she ran another 20 yards after a score first got close to her. You don't stop until that whistle blows. Looking at Satellite, they are in, I believe, 2A. They have 9 teams in their district, and the only local teams are Merritt Island and Titusville. And last year, FHSAA went from 2 classifications to 4. So this is the second year they've had 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A. The champions last year were Miami Edison 1A, Tampa Robinson 2, Seminole Ridge 3, and Tampa Alonzo 4A. So again, a lot more opportunities for these teams as this sport grows, as they went from 2 classifications to 4 last year. Passes up in the air. Oh, incomplete. And we got a flag. That might be interference. Haven't seen that called today. We'll see if that might be a 10-yarder, or maybe, let's see what he got. I know there was a 10-yard penalty. Catching interference, no, just 5. Okay. And again, you got to remember, with just an 80-yard field, You don't want to rack on 15-yard penalties, and there's not that many 10. Again, I don't know how much time is left. Space Coast only down by 6. That missed extra point by the Scorps might come into play. Thibodeau with the ball. Back to pass over to Taylor. Still going. Got her out of bounds right there. Nice play by number 7. That is Mallory Johnson for the Scorps. Second down. As I mentioned in the pregame, flag football, one exciting sport. So glad to see it. It's been in Florida as a varsity sport since 2003. Glad to see Brevard added it last year. Little pitch out. She's got some running room. Touchdown, Space Coast. And we are all knotted up at 20. Two win streaks here on the line. 4 games by Satellite, 7 by Space Coast. Satellite missed a point extra on their 3rd touchdown. So critical, just like at any level of football, to get that PAT. 30 seconds left in the game. My goodness. Really something. Again, what an exciting game. Both teams scored in the first quarter. Nobody in the second. Satellite scored twice in the third. And now Space Coast has scored twice in the fourth. Again, just like the 2 games that Doug and I watched last year. So exciting to see this great new sport. And these young ladies, they are taking to it so quickly. Such exciting play. Again, 30 seconds left. Space Coast ties it, trying to maintain an unblemished record. Satellite missed the point after on their 3rd touchdown. Let's see if that's going to cost them. But they'll get the ball back. Anything can happen in 30 seconds. Thibodeau back. Saw a little lightning over there, but hopefully it stays beachside. Point after attempt. Thibodeau. Oh, nice play by Satellite. And the point after is no good. That is number 14, Jameson Kraft, the quarterback. And we are tied 20-all with 30 seconds left in the game. Both teams missed the point after on their 3rd touchdown try. And I am not, let me see if I look at my stuff here. Overtime, I don't see anything. I hope we play overtime. Man, let's don't end the game like this. I don't know if they play a 5-minute, 8-minute quarter. First team scores. We'll soon find out, but let's not end it in a tie. And Satellite's thinking they don't want to either. Pass complete. Quarterback Kraft. Timeout. I think that was complete to Kirsting, number 11. She scored twice tonight. Again, just want to give a shout out to my friend Doug Cook. He got 9 holes in today, but wasn't feeling good, so we certainly wish him the best. Also want to give a shout out to my better half. We all know tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, but the day after is my lovely wife Linda's birthday. So, honey, early happy birthday wish to you. Thank goodness for St. Patrick's Day, so I'll never forget that it's the day after. But again, happy birthday, Mrs. Maharis. All right, I don't know how much time we got left, maybe 20 seconds or so. Satellite trying to put some points on the board. Again, I'm not sure how the overtime works. I hope they do have it, because this has been one exciting game. Kraft back to pass. Long pass up in the air. Falls incomplete. That one was up for grabs. Probably about 15 seconds left. Again, both teams will be back on the field tomorrow. Space Coast here hosting Astronaut. Satellite traveling to Merritt Island. Kraft back to pass. Thibodeau chasing her down. Ball up in the air. Uh-oh. That was a flag. Little interference, little tripping there. Down about the 23-yard line. Man, wouldn't this be something? Satellite comes back with less than 30 seconds to take this game out of the hands of the Vipers. All right, now what are we doing? All right, now we're going back. Oh, okay, because it's not a it's not a point of where the foul occurred. It's a walk-off, I think 10 yards. So looks like they're going to be at the 38-yard line. So it's not a foul that is there at the point where, and that differs in all levels of football. I think some levels it is and some it isn't. Back to pass. Still got the ball in her hands. Takes it out of bounds. Curious how much time is left. Second down, ball is on about the 30-yard line, maybe 29. Yeah, we'll call it 29. I think I heard somebody say 3 seconds, but I don't know. So this could be the last play of the, hopefully, just of the regular game. And hopefully we got overtime coming up. Kraft back to pass. Up in the air. And incomplete. Nice play by the Vipers. And let's see what we got. Vipers 7-0. Scorps 4-2 with 4-game winning streak. All right, so not sure. Heard somebody say 3 minutes, maybe 3-minute timeout, and then we'll see how overtime works. I'm going to guess it's going to be like most other levels of football. Every team, except for the pros, but college, high school, every team gets the ball the same amount of time. I would imagine it would work that way because at every level except for pros where it's a quarter or by the clock, hopefully it's equal possessions until somebody scores or somebody doesn't. As I mentioned, Thibodeau comes in today with 982 yards passing, so I'm pretty sure she, in just 8 games, surpassed 1,000 yards. My apologies, there were no stats on Max Preps, so the only thing I had for Satellite was just some team stats, no individual. But again, a lot of great plays out there. Both quarterbacks, Kraft and Thibodeau, have done outstanding. We've got great plays on both sides of the ball. Again, it's just great to see they're both in their first year and they are just taking off, as you could tell by their combined 11-2 record. Again, hopefully some other contests got on today. And as I mentioned earlier, I talked to, I believe it was Faith Connor's mom. She's number 14 for Space Coast. And our daughter, Devin, kind of in the same boat. She picked up lacrosse when it first came to Brevard County. Played soccer all of her life, got the lacrosse bug, and that's what she chose to play in college. I was blessed enough to be one of the assistant coaches. And just like these two teams, we had some great athletes that quickly picked up the game of lacrosse, and Satellite won the first 3 ever district championships here in the county. And again, we're seeing that tonight. A lot of young, really good athletes. I know some of them probably play soccer and some other sports. And you know what? This might just be kind of like some of the girls we had in lacrosse. This might be their first opportunity to play a varsity sport, which makes it even more exciting that it's not only giving opportunities to young ladies that are already playing a sport, but just like we did in lacrosse, opportunities to young ladies that maybe would otherwise not play a sport. And again, we talked earlier, or I did, I keep thinking Doug's sitting next to me, that Coach Owens has a really young squad. He's got 11 players that are either 8th, 9th, or 10th grade, with 3 of them being 8th grade. So promising start and a promising future. Same thing goes for Satellite. Their first year out. I don't have their grade levels, but again, off to a 4-2 start for them. So again, just really 2 exciting teams. We got Merritt Island at 5-1. We've got Vieira at 6-0. These young ladies are picking up this sport really quickly, and it's not going to be too long before Brevard flag football teams are going to be something to reckon with in the postseason. All right, so looks like we're going to kind of do like the other levels of football where each team is going to get it, looks like about the 10-yard line. And I guess each might have 4 plays to score, and we keep going until somebody scores and somebody doesn't. So that's great. So here we are. We are in overtime bonus flag football coming to you live from Space Coast Junior Senior High School. And Satellite has the ball first. Kraft back to pass. Rush by Thibodeau. Looks like she's open, and she is. And that's a touchdown on the first play in overtime for the Lady Scorps. But as we know, this point after is real important. Both teams have missed a point after today. Kraft back. We are in overtime. Very important point after. Across the middle, and she gets in. That was huge. That point after, both teams missed a point after. So it's big that Satellite got it back on the board, and they take full level opportunity and advantage of having that ball first. But now, Lady Vipers and Coach Owens, they know what they got to do. You got to put 7 on the board, or that 7-game win streak ends tonight. First down from about the 10. 4 tries to score. Quarterback Thibodeau, well over 1,000 yards in passing for the season, brings the Lady Vipers up to the line. First down in overtime. Fake handoff, little handoff sweep to Taylor, and whistle blows. A little fake handoff, that's good. Again, that's Taylor, number 1, Isabella for Space Coast. Second down. Ball looks like it's about the 5-yard line, so they got half the distance there. Second down, goal to go, trying to tie it up. Satellite took full advantage the first time they had the ball. Keeper by Thibodeau, and touchdown! And it only takes them 2 plays, and just like that, Space Coast takes advantage of their first time having the ball in overtime, but point after, so critical. Again, Satellite looks like they lost their game to Vieira, who was undefeated at 6-0, 7-6 due to a missed point after. Now Thibodeau getting the call in from Coach Owens, calls a timeout. Big play right here. Point after, so critical. Again, it's almost like a 2-point conversion in college and pros. They don't have the advantage of just kicking the ball through. But like I mentioned earlier, it's great that they have an opportunity if they're a little bit farther behind. Point after from the 3 is 1 point. Point after from the 10 is 2 points. And if a team so chooses, if they're down by 3 points, they can take the point after from the 20, and if successful, that is 3 points. Again, this sport is growing. I think last year there were 40, I believe, NCAA schools that had, no, there were 65 that either had a club or varsity. Now it is over 200. Over 200 NCAA at Division 1, 2, and 3 have club or varsity flag football. And there's only 15 states that have it in high school. And one of the first states to have it is Florida. So again, these young ladies playing flag football in Florida and Brevard County, they've got a pretty good opportunity to beat 35 other states to get some of these young ladies playing at the next level. NAIA was the first one to add flag football in 2020. Point after to tie it. Back to Thibodeau. Pass across the middle, and it is no good. And the Scorps defense comes up big. Young lady down on the field. Hopefully she's all right.
That's 2 extra points. If we had gotten 1 in the regular, we wouldn't have had overtime.
Young lady down on the field. Hopefully she's okay. But what a great game. Overtime, Satellite. They lost a game earlier this year, 7-6 to Vieira on a missed extra point. And tonight, they extend their win streak to 5 games, moving to 5-2 on the season as Space Coast takes their first loss now with a 7-1 record. Excuse me. Still waiting for that young lady to get up. I think that's number 4. Hannah Chamberlain. Hats off to her. I think a couple of them banged into each other. She had an interception tonight. And again, great game. Went into overtime. Final score 27-26 Satellite. Missed extra point. So critical. Again, Satellite lost a game earlier this year with a mixed extra point, losing to Vieira 7-6. Makes up for it tonight. Scoring the most points Space Coast has given up, 27 points tonight. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that one game that they had in common, Titusville, kind of led you to believe they were going to be evenly matched, with Satellite beating Titusville 26-21, and Space Coast beat them twice, 7-0, 6-0, so didn't score as much, but didn't give up any. So again, 2 very evenly matched teams. I'm going to flip this around. I don't have the lights on. You can see a little bit of light on there. Well, we hope you enjoyed it. Again, hope Doug Cook feels better, fighting the little bit of a bug today. Still got 9 holes in, though, if he doesn't finish 18. But what an exciting sport and a great opportunity for these young ladies. You don't want to see let me see if I can get this a little bit smaller here. But again, we got the game in. It's only a little bit before 8. I'm glad they pulled this off. Glad they have overtime. Kind of like high school. You start at the 10-yard line. You got 4 downs to go. Satellite scored the first play of overtime and made the extra point. Space Coast scored on the second play of their overtime, missed the extra point. Great defensive play by Satellite. And that's how we got to 27-26 Satellite. Again, just as a reminder for Scorp fans, you play tomorrow night at Merritt Island, who is 5-1. You moved to 5-2. It looks like the game, at least on Max Prep, said 5:30. So double check 5:30 or 6. And for the 7-1 Vipers, they host the 2-4 Astronaut War Eagles, who they defeated earlier in the year. That's right here at 6 o'clock. Exciting overtime, girls flag football. Excited to see it in Brevard. We hope you like the broadcast. We're glad the skies had cleared. Great game. Final score 27-26 as the Scorpions get their first loss of the season, and the Lady Scorps extend their winning streak to 5 games. Both play tomorrow. One at Merritt Island, one here. I'm Bill Maharis. Doug, I hope you're feeling better. Press Box Overtime. Thanks for watching. Remember, sports, more than just a game. And flag football, yeah, it's here to stay. Enjoy the rest of your evening.